Hey, what's going on, guys? GoMagiGains here. I'd like to welcome you all to this new series on creating a web-based GUI for the UCI chess engine. So in this video, we're gonna walk through the dependencies that would have been involved in order to create this sort of a GUI to interact with our engine, and we'll also draft a very basic template of the Flask web application itself. I'll just now explain what I mean by saying that, and probably also draw a board to our web page. So just to give you an idea how the UI part is going to look like. And in the next videos we'll add some logic to some backend logic to actually work with an engine itself. So without further ado, let's actually start. So the very first thing you need to have is the Python programming language. It's incredibly easy to download from the python.org site, depending on your operating system. I'm on Linux Mint, and I have Python 3.6 pre-installed on my system. I never used this Python 3.9, to be honest, even Python 3.7 as well. And there might be some limitations at some point, but you don't really need to be bothered regarding that stuff. So you just download the version of Python higher or equal to 3.6, so we can have the same code here. Don't download the versions like Python 2 because they are not supported anymore, and also the Python chess library that makes use of interacting via the UCI protocol with the engines from the Python interface also doesn't seem to support the Python 2, only Python 3. So that's another idea to consider, Python 3 and higher, but not Python 2, because that's a completely different branch. So another thing to consider is a Flask package, which Flask is a minimalist web framework, which is probably the most easiest web framework to use. In Python, at least. You will now see it on your own how easily this could have been done, basically. So Flask is very simple and straightforward to use. Even if you don't have any experience in web development, it's not a big deal. We're not going to be writing that much code, so just a few lines, basically. Well, at least in this video. So this is what is needed in order to establish a web application. By the way, later on, I didn't yet include this package, but just to give an idea of some possibilities. So it's possible to convert Flask web application into a desktop application, believe it or not. So eventually you will have a single file native binary executable. If you run that, the HTTP server will start on your local machine, and then you can access your app via browser like we would be doing now. So this might be incredibly useful if you want to distribute your chess engine without getting bothered by the fact that your users would need to actually install all of these dependencies. So just to make their life easier, it would be just a matter of running the single binary executable and opening the browser to play chess. That's it. Okay, so Flask would be installed using the pip manager, which is Python package manager. I will demonstrate this. Even though I have this installed, I will demonstrate that still. Another library, and I'm not going to be closing this these tabs, well, at least for the following couple of videos, because we would be making use of the code written here. So Python chess is the library that, well, actually it's literally enough to create a full-blown chess engine using this library. So it generates moves, it handles the inner board state, so everything but search and evaluation is available in this library. This is very high level, very interesting, very handy, and things like that. And also one of the benefits of this library that it allows you to interact with the chess engine via the UCI protocol without even specifying the UCI commands itself. So it implements some abstraction layer to interact with the engine. In this kind of simple, well, one line of code is literally enough for doing this. So we would be making use of this code as well. Now what I was talking about, the versions of Python. So here we have an asynchronous implementation of running the engine. I'm not sure what exactly they mean here by asynchronous, well, probably they're running this in a separate thread, I believe. But when I was looking to the source code of this implementation, it also seems to be creating a separate thread. So not really sure what's the difference at the moment. And again, like if you want to run this code, you need to install Python 3.7 or higher, because this async.io.run doesn't work on my Python 3.6. So I'm not going to be using this code, but for those of you who's interested and prefer some better practices than noobs and dumps things that I do as a code monkey, so please bear in mind that Python 3.7 would be the better, because that's that version that actually supports this sort of a code here. So I hope this is quite pretty clear. Now, in order to draw the chessboard on in the browser, so this is how it looks like. So this is the version that already handles the illegal moves, so you can't make illegal moves. You can make only legal moves here. So we'll reuse the code snippets from here. Also, we'll install this JavaScript library, and also Chess.js, which helps chessboard to handle the board state, because a Chessboard JS is a dumb board according to the claim of its author. So you see, like this example uses Chess.js library. So in order to keep track of a full-blown FEN, because Chessboard JS only keeps track of this part of FEN, it knows literally nothing about the side and move board state, this castling rights in peasant square and half move counter. So it only cares about the position, while the Chess.js actually cares about the entire board state. So these two libraries, Chessboard JS and Chess.js, are working kind of sort of a cooperation to bring the best experience to the user. Okay guys, so without further ado, let's actually start. So here I have my current working directory that I will publish on GitHub. I just want to, so this is, I call it BBC GUI. I just want to create a new file called app.py. So the reason for naming this exactly app.py, because when it comes to deploying, it's takes less configuration for, well, say, a Nginx server on Python Anywhere. Because if you have this app.py name, you don't really need to configure anything. So this app is this name for the file, and also name for the app instance would be app as well. So these two are default variables. So you won't need to get bothered by configuring the development. By configuring the production server. Actually, well. Yeah, I think this would be Nginx on Python Anywhere. So, well, anyway, I hope to show you the process of deploying this to Python Anywhere one day when we'll finish this series, but this time it doesn't really matter that much. So, well, let's actually run this application here. I wanna run this from scratch to make sure that. Okay, and also let's open the terminal. Okay, so. Regarding the Flask, well, I'm on Linux, so I'm not, and I have multiple versions of Python being installed, so I can't say just pip install like this. If I say it like this, it would install for the Python 2, which is also available on Linux and used for some system purposes. So on my system, I need to type sudo keyword to obtain the super user rights. So if you're on POSIX systems like Linux or Mac, probably you will need sudo as well. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But if you're on Windows you have the only version of Python installed, then literally just pip install should be enough for you. But again, like I'm not on Windows, so I can't help you with that stuff. But this actually works for everybody on my other channel when I was making some web development tutorials. Nobody ever did complain regarding this stuff. So on my system, and if you're on Linux system, you need to say sudo. Then I'm specifying the version of pip, so I'm saying pip 3. If you have multiple versions of your Python on Python 3.6 or something, so I actually need to specify Python 3.6 because I also have Python 3.5. So pip 3.6 install and Flask. So obviously I already have the Flask installed in my system. Okay. sorry. So yeah, it says like the requirement is already satisfied, which means that I already have this installed. So that's kind of quite pretty predictable, obviously. But for you, if you're doing this for the first time, it would have just installed the Flask onto your local system. And also the same you need to do for Python Chess, which is the package to actually interact between your web application backend and your binary executable running natively on your system. That is your Chess engine, actually. So I also have this requirement being satisfied because, again, like I already have that installed. So this is kind of it, nothing much really. And now let's actually start writing some code. So here I just want to say that this is the web-based GUI for BBC Chess engine, and that's kind of pretty it. So now I just want to import some packages. So the very first thing to consider, I need to say from Flask import Flask to create a constructor. Well, obviously if you're not going to deploy this, you can say just like from Flask import all, and to make use of all the needed functions, modules, classes, etc. But if you're going to deploy this, it's better to explicitly mention every single stuff you're importing, because otherwise it might not work properly when you're deploying. So again, just some sort of a how to do things to make sure that they would be working when you deploy the stuff. So from Flask import Flask, and now I just want to create a web application instance, and this is done simply as, so again, I'm specifying this app variable because Nginx server would be saying like app in his settings like this, where the first app means the app.py file, and the second app means this app instance. So I just want to say Flask and name like this. It's too long to explain what this name means, so it's just a snippet from the Flask framework itself. So just believe that it is working. That's kind of it. And also we need to create the main driver to actually run our app. So we can say if, again, like this is the Python specific stuff, if name equals to main. In this case, so what does this mean? So this is the condition that allows you to distinguish between either your current app is running directly, like we're going to be doing here from the console, but this would be the development version. While when it comes to using this app with the Nginx server, it wouldn't be running this in the debugging mode. Instead, it would be running this in the production mode, and their things are going to be a little bit different. So we're not going to fire this code that that was supposed to be writing just right in the moment in case of the production. So this is only the development stuff. And overall idea of this, if name equals to main, serves the purpose of, so if you just want to use your code here, say you're writing some class, so if you want to run this class directly, then you can do it here, but otherwise you might want to import this class to another project as a module. So in this case, anything that regards to running the current instance of class shouldn't be on the card. So that's the reason for this condition. So I hope this is quite pretty clear. So and now we simply need actually to start HTTP server or run our app. So we can simply say app.run, and now a couple of settings here. So the first, I want to enable the debugging mode, which means that we can simply update this file, and the server would restart automatically without a need to restart it manually. And also it's quite useful to set a threaded option equals to true, which would make your web application multi-threaded, which means like many users simultaneously can work with it. So that's the idea of this threaded keyword argument in Python. And the very last thing to make it actually work, we need to create stuff what is known as the route. So the route is So let's say when you just go into, well, actually, I will start demonstration right at the moment. So by default, by the way, by default, Flask sets a web server at the port number 5000. So if I just run my server wide, it's very simple, like say python3 app.py, that's it. So it starts the server, HTTP server on ports 5000. But if I just try to update the page, it says like not found because the root route is not defined. So in order to define this root route, we need to, well, so here we actually define root route, or also this is known as index. So like the homepage of the website, well, maybe it's not the homepage, but index root, so call it however you want. So we use the so-called decorator, which is the cool fancy Python feature. So we can say like app and route, and specifying the route to 1/, which means the root route. And here we're specifying the callback function that would fire when we come to that route. So we say def, well, I usually call this root. You can call it index, however you want. It doesn't really matter that much. So let's just return, I don't know, BBC chess. So just it should be a string or dictionary, or well, just you'll now get it. So, oh my god, guys, did I press Control R? Well, I see the record is still going on here. It's just the problem. So okay, if I just hold on a sec. Hold on a sec, guys. I just need to check my recording, because if I pressed Control R accidentally, then this record would stop. So just hold on a sec, please. Okay, sorry guys. So just the problem when I'm recording some web development tutorials. So I have a shortcut Control R, which do two things. It updates the page in the web browser, and also it starts or stops the recording down below here in my desktop recording app. So I'm really sorry. I just need to take my left hand away from Control R and use my mouse all the time, because otherwise I would be stopping the recording and not tracking that. So let's restore the server, because I just make a syntax error there. So obviously just trying to return the string, and here, so you see like this BBC chess string has appeared, which means that our web application is now alive. So perfect. And now there are two ways of this is known as rendering templates. So the idea is to create the dynamic content in the websites. Like if you're just looking for like retrieving some data from the database, and you just need to render the page dynamically with the newly retrieved items from the database. So that's the reason where template renderer is used. In Flask, there is a template renderer called Jinja, and there are two ways of how one can use it. You can either embed the HTML code into the Python file itself, which I do from time to time, but the more proper way of doing things is actually to create so-called templates folder and host the view elements in that folder. So that's exact stuff that I'm supposed to be doing just right now. I just create the templates folder here, and here I just create a new file. I just want to call it bbc.html, and this would be the only file to actually represent the user interface for our engine. And now here we need to say from Flask import render template, template like this. And instead of returning string, we can simply say return render template and bbc.html. And by default, the path to the templates folder is right over in here in templates. So if I'm not mistaken, we can specify templates here where the app instance is created, but no need for doing this because it's kind of it looks into the templates folder by default. So now we let's say BBC template, just to give you an idea that how it works. So it should now print BBC template when we're in the here. Okay, so perfect. Our template has been rendered successfully, which is absolutely good thing. Okay, so from now on, now we can actually go for drafting some very simple HTML document here. So let me just switch the tab width to 2 spaces. So here I can say head and here body and body, like this. And okay, so another message from my subscriber. Thank you guys, I really appreciate when you comment in my videos. Thank you so much. Okay, and here let's specify the title for our page. It would be, let's say, BBC Chess, Chess Engine, maybe. Maybe BBC Chess is just an, oh, let's keep it BBC Chess. And I want to save, and yeah, I think this should already be changed. So instead of localhost, we have this BBC Chess. Well, actually, the tab width is enough, so we can add this engine as well. Don't press Control R. Okay, I just always forgot to. I'm always trying to press Control R. Okay, and I'm just wondering. Yeah, I just dropped all the textual information here, which is fine. Okay, so here, well, actually, before anything else, I need to import. I also forgot to mention the jQuery, which is also, and Bootstrap, which are the libraries to make a cute user interface. So let's actually start with. Just don't remember this stuff by heart, so let me have a look. Downloads. Regarding this Chessboard JS, I want to be using the versions copied from this minified CDNs, which might not be the best ever practice, but I'll now explain you the reason why am I doing this. So this is it. Copy. I'm not gonna be using this like so. I just need this relative style sheet stuff and h-reference. Okay, just making web development for about a year, still can't remember this. Okay, and the h-reference would be local, and I will now download this stuff. So here is oh, what have I done? Okay, sorry guys, I just needed to take only the h reference, obviously. Okay, so copy this. So first the style sheet. Okay, the style sheet is so little. Didn't know this. Okay, so copy. Just I thought it's a little bit bigger. And now I also want to create a folder. Oh, what have I done? I just want to create a folder called static, and again, that's the standard name to host static files along with the Flask application. So here we'll create a folder called JS and another folder called CSS to store style files and JavaScripts respectively. So creating a new file, and I want to name this file copy like this. So paste and okay, not exactly. Copy and paste. Okay, save. And also the JavaScript file. So, well, that's actually, oh, I didn't yet create a file, okay. And I call this file like chessboard min.js. Copy, paste, and Don't hate me for this approach. Maybe not the best ever, but I will now explain you the reason why I'm doing this. Okay. Copy. Okay. And now just grab the entire source here and paste. And the problem is with the paths that we have in regards to piece images here. So now I download this to get the images. Okay. I was actually already downloading this. Let me show you this from scratch. So and from here I need the images. Okay, copy, and hold on guys, just want to open the static folder and paste images here. Okay, I don't remember the path to the images. Well, it will now give us an error, and we'll see how exactly to alter this. I swear I don't remember this by heart. So, okay, now these file names would be needed in order to import this library. So this would be static and CSS, Chessboard CSS, save. And also I want to import the script with the source equals to same but JavaScript at the end. So save, and this is, well, something is going wrong with my highlights. That's because I forgot to close the script tag. Okay, so here we have Chessboard JS widget like this. Okay, and I just want to open the developer tools again, and now it would give us an error. Okay, now found static. Oh, it's not in CSS, it's in JS actually. Yeah, surely. Static JS, save. Okay. Yeah, now it seems to be working. So yeah, as far as I didn't yet create the board, it didn't give me the error of not having that particular proper path to the images. Well, anyway, so now we need also, so I will try to use this code snippet from integration only legal moves, which is the basic framework to work with, but it needs the chess.js to be installed. So in order to install this chess.js, I will simply it's the one file library. I really love the one file libraries, so I just take it in a row and just copy the stuff, and here in JS I'll create another new file and I call this rename. I call it just chess.js and paste the source code in. And now I also would need to are we gonna be using this app.py? No, we don't, so we can switch here. I'm not sure, should this be installed before? Well, let's try to make so chess.js, chess.js, how to call this, script, And here I just import my chess.js. So let's have a look if they are getting imported correctly. Well, it seems like, and now if I did everything correctly, then most likely it should actually, so this code should be working. At the moment, I'm not going to be storing this code into a separate JS file. This might be done later. But if I do this just right now, then without this developer tools being opened, and also you need to, if this disable cache is enabled, this, oh my god, I forgot how this is called. So the idea is when you're making changes in your JavaScript code, so to make this, to apply these changes to what you see in the browser, it's a good idea to create a custom script within the HTML file to make sure that it would 100% be updated every time you update the page. Well, later on, this obviously could be, you can put this to another JS file, say right over in here. But again, like at least during the development process, I would love to embed the script into the HTML file to make sure, again, like that every single change we're making is actually represented. Okay, perfect. So let's save this, and from now on, now we already should see the chessboard, but without the pieces. Okay, so this means that we didn't yet import the jQuery. So the jQuery is another dependency. Okay, so we need also bootstrap CDN, and also we need the jQuery CDN. So I think we should start with the jQuery. So just want to see the minified version. So let's take this one, copy, and okay. So I don't really want to get bothered with this integrity and the cross-origin stuff, even though this is generally a good idea to deal with, but I consider this it's not inappropriate, but it's not needed for our purposes, at least. So here we use the jQuery. Well, actually, let's make it like this. Just naming the packages is more correct way of doing things. So jQuery. So well, I believe this now already should. Okay. Oh, I didn't create the board element. Okay, I didn't create a board element. So, oh my god, how is that board element called here? ID. Is this called my board? Hold on a sec. It has the, this board. Well, I'm not sure if this is called the board one in the source code. Let's actually check that out. So the idea is to pick up, okay, the idea is just to create a view element and hook this element in the JavaScript to render the chessboard and initialize all this stuff. So here we have the chessboard view. Okay, yeah, probably the names are not matching, so it should be the same. Okay, and just to fix this, so board, I'm just trying to figure out the, hold on guys, just I already forgot how this is done. Okay, so this is it. So chessboard, and the first is the name that jQuery is later used to pick up that selector. Well, I'm sorry, that's a little bit, so let's call it just chessboard. and let's call it chessboard here. So we're so this is done implicitly. When you use jQuery, you can select an element by the ID, well, also by class, but by various things. But here in particular, we would be selecting this div object that would serve to render the chessboard by ID. And this is not done explicitly, but this is done implicitly here when we're creating the constructor to initialize the chessboard object. The graphical object, and it uses the ID that we have assigned to our chessboard, and this is later on this is implicitly selected by the jQuery to reference the particular DOM element in our web page. Again, like, yeah, so you remember, like, when we didn't import jQuery, it didn't work because the jQuery is the dependency here. Well, it doesn't matter really. So now it should actually work, I hope. Okay, perfect. But here is the trick. Here is an issue that I've been talking about. So we don't have our pieces being loaded, so it's an issue. And here is the particular path that it's searching for. What we need to do, we need to add a static folder here into this path. So let's say, well, I can reference this by the Wikipedia, I guess. Tag keyword. So not here, but here. Control F, and I just search for wiki. It's a bit too long to deal with this, such a one-liners, such a long one-liners. But anyway, here is the path, and if we just say like this, static. I'm sorry, it's too slow because it's just one line. Save, and if I did everything correctly, now it should print. Okay, perfect. Our pieces. Okay, great. It's not yet centralized, but already we can make moves, and we can make some illegal moves here. So you see, like, we can make only legal moves. Also, we can't move twice for one side. So if we just did this for whites, then we can do it for blacks. So the move legality checking is already being involved here, which is absolutely fantastic. So this is it. And now just to bring this chessboard outside from, the corner, I'm not yet sure about the particular layout that we're supposed to be using, but probably centralizing the chessboard might be a good consideration in general. So we will end up this video by probably by centralizing this element via chessboard element via adding some additional view elements. So again, like, I'm using so-called Bootstrap library, which is the CSS library to print like pretty buttons and cards. Also, that's some technique that we would be using. Also, some shortcuts for margins and paddings and things like that. Well, anyway, there is a standard pattern on how to create the Bootstrap-based framework. Well, it's not a framework, but let me just show you this. So we need to say div class equals to container, and container is the Bootstrap class itself. And then we close this, and then div class equals to row. And again, this is needed to place elements in the line one by one, div. And the final one is div class equals to col, which is column, respectively, div. And also I would like to use the card because it's just a pretty stuff. Div class equals to card, and closing the div tag. And within the card we have a card body class. So div class equals to card body, and closing the div like this. Okay, so here we can now put our chessboard in. So just take it away, and bring it in. Okay. Save. And it now should, oh, don't press Control R. I was almost like to press the Control R. Okay, hold on a sec. Something is getting horribly wrong here. Sorry guys, just I'm a bit confused why I can't see any card. Just want to quickly check this out. Okay, now it doesn't see the chessboard. Okay, so sorry, just seems like I've done everything, but it doesn't print. Trying to give a margin top for the card. Okay, probably. Okay, I think that something is wrong with the bootstrap. Ah, of course. Yeah, surely something wrong with the bootstrap because we didn't yet actually import the bootstrap. Okay, so yeah, this is quite pretty predictable issue here. So obviously we need to import the bootstrap itself. Quick path cdn. So here is the bunch of stuff to consider. So let's copy this one. And here would it be the bootstrap? Or hold on a sec. Well, probably we need to put it after jQuery because it relies on jQuery. So let's copy this one. And I just want to change the link, paste, and also this script part. And I just want to change the script. So this one would be going here, and this one would be going down below here. Save. Okay. Yeah, thank God now this works. Okay guys, so you see like maybe it's not really visible that great, but we have this we have the card being printed. So this is what is known as the card body, and I'm not really sure regarding the layout. Well, it seems like visually it would be better to put the chessboard in the center. Also, I'm bearing in mind the fact that some users might try to want to play versus my chess engine from the mobile phone, from the smartphone. So that needs some additional design applications to make this to make a responsive design to look good both on PC or laptop and smartphone at the same time. I'm not sure though how in particular would be what would be the best way to approach here. But most likely I think that if we have this laptop widescreen, so board on the left and some game data on the right, might be just fine. And when it comes to, well, actually I can show you this to mimic the smartphone behavior. Okay, if I just open this developer tool, so this is like a smartphone version, let's say. So if there was something right over in here, it should be in theory going down below. To be honest, I don't really remember by heart how exactly that is done, because I'm not a front-end developer. I'm more likely working on creating visual interfaces for web scrapers and manipulating data, creating APIs. So I'm more like a full-stack developer. I don't really know all this fancy stuff regarding design. But just to give you a basic idea, I think I might be wrong though, but so if we just try to wrap, well, I just don't really remember this, to be honest. Okay, guys, so just won't be really wasting your time. I need to check up my my sources to make sure how this is done, how exactly this is done. But the idea that I want to, the goal that I want to achieve, that on laptop it would be like horizontal orientation, while on smartphone it would be the vertical orientation. So if say here we'll have the PGN, then on smartphone the PGN would be just right down below. And also probably these margins are a little bit too big, so on smartphone this might not be that great experience. So I'll probably need to work this out a little bit as well. But at this moment, I don't really think that it's really that much important. So just to avoid this chessboard annoying our eyes, I will just try to make it in the center by saying class equals mx auto, like this. If I did everything correctly, should centralize the board. Yeah, hopefully. So we would be working with this version for a while, and later on, like when every single feature would be implemented, we'll work on design a little bit to make sure that it looks good on mobile phone as well, on smartphone. Okay, guys, so this is it from my side. In the next video, we'll initially connect our chess engine to this sort of a GUI, and we'll see the version that has been shown, well, almost the version that has been shown in the initial part, in the intro and demo part. And starting from then, we will be adding some features to make it more user-friendly. So one could have changed site, start new game, and things like that. If you will have any feature requests along the way, then please let me know in the commentaries. I would be happy to implement them if my skills allow me doing that. Okay, guys, so this is it from my side. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and learned something interesting out of it. I hope to see you in the next parts within this GUI, web-based GUI for UCI Chess Engine series. Until that time, basically, and take care.